Hello, my name is Kirioth again, and it's a rare double video day, and both 40k related because we're going back to Deathwatch because there has been a new thing on the Warhammer community site talking about the mixed Primaris Deathwatch units you can build, teams you can build rather, and it's actually kind of interesting, and I really like the way they've done this. But it also kind of opens up to a wider discussion about something that I'm finding a little bit disappointing. So a plus and a negative. So let's just go through what they suggest and what the benefits of creating these mixed teams are, and then we'll talk about the thing that I'm not hugely keen on out of all of this. Okay, so with this, you'll be able to, add stuff to your Deathwatch kill teams. You'll be able to make mixed Primaris teams, and the basis of said teams are Intercessors, as they say. They'll make up the bulk of your Primaris units and are as solid as they've always been, with special issue ammunition, etc. They're pretty cool. They're kind of cool. I like them. They look good. You get bonuses, or like extra things, for adding stuff into the teams. One of which being Reavers, and Reavers give you Terror Troops. Enemy units must subtract 1 from their leadership characteristic if they are within 3 inches of any Reaver units or units that include any Reaver models. I quite like that as a nice little rule, and it's actually kind of flexible in that you can just take a unit of Reavers and it will apply to that as well, or mixed units that contain Reavers. Good, nice. There's also Aggressors. And Aggressors get Relentless Advance. A unit of Intercessors that includes any Aggressors does not suffer any penalty to their hit rolls for advancing and firing assault weapons, or for moving and firing heavy weapons. Again, I like that. It's nice. Adds a little bit to things. Inceptors, I especially like. Inceptor Strike. Inceptors can move across models and terrain as if they were not there. In addition, when a unit of Intercessors that includes any Inceptors falls back, it can shoot later that turn as if it could fly. I really like that. Hellblasters don't get any special stuff because they're essentially, as someone rightfully pointed out in the previous video, they're just Intercessors but with a different gun. But as they point out, they will provide the majority of the damage for mixed Primaris units. I also do like it may seem a little ruthless, but Hellblasters also benefit considerably from having some bodies that cost fewer points. Meat shields is what they're going for there. And they give a few examples of how these things can work. So, Close Assault Specialist will be 6 Interceptors, an Interceptors, an Inceptor, 2 Aggressors, and 1 Reaver. Designed to fight up close and personal, closing in right on enemy lines and unleashing punishing short-range firepower. Aggressors act as a deterrent. The Inceptor, why didn't they just call them Interceptors, for God's sake? The Inceptor allows you to engage units in your zone before retreating and laying down fire. And you get the armor-piercing power of Vengeance rounds, as well as the Reaver's shock grenades. So there's a good couple of examples. Firebase, so Intercessors, Hellblasters, and an Aggressor. Sit back and objective and provide long-range supporting fire, obviously. And the Aggressor allowing you to move and shoot is excellent. Assault Firebase, so 5 Intercessors, 3 Hellblasters, an Aggressor, and an Inceptor. And again, as they say, designed to operate mid-range. Thanks to the Aggressor, you'll be able to advance and fire, and the Inceptor means that getting charged won't stop you from retreating and firing. I like all of this stuff. Okay, I like the way they presented this. I like the way they've built some example teams for people to take a look at, to get a grip with, especially for people who don't play Deathwatch like me. That is actually very helpful, and I can see the logic in what they've done there. And it gives a good kind of starting point if you have not had a Deathwatch army before, as to how you might go about approaching, building kill teams and so on. It's all good. I like it. Mixed Primaris units, they look interesting, they look cool, they look kind of suitable, which is the thing. One of the things I was worried about with Deathwatch is that the Primaris wouldn't seem suitable for this task. But actually, the way they've done it, I think they've executed it quite well. Here's the bit where I'm disappointed. I can't see anything in there about mixing Primaris and non-Primaris, which unless there's going to be another preview tomorrow which completely makes that irrelevant, and honestly I hope I am. I would genuinely like to be wrong. I actually would be incredibly happy to sit there and go, I complained for like 5 minutes about the lack of mixed Space Marine and Primaris Space Marine squads, and it turns out that actually you can do that after all. I would love to do that, that'd be great. But I'm a bit worried that you won't. And I think it would be a mixed, like a missed opportunity. I don't think it would be a good idea. I think it'd be better if you could just mix them, to be honest. I mean, for all the talk of normal Space Marines embracing their new Primaris counterparts, for all the talk of Space Marines not being trusting of their new Primaris counterparts, I'm not going to say that something like the Deathwatch would be above that, although I feel like the chances are that the Deathwatch actually might be above all that. I don't see why it would be tactically sound to cut off half your options. Like, if you are building kill teams to fulfill specific roles, why would you make it so that you can't have normal Space Marines and Primaris Space Marines working together? But why is that not a thing? Why is that not possible? Why could you not have it so that you could have normal Space Marines and Primaris in the same kill teams? There's like literal segregation isn't the right word, I don't think. It might be, I don't know. There's separation going on. And I don't think there should be. I don't think there needs to be. I don't think it really adds anything. If anything, it just takes it away. You would expect an organisation like Deathwatch to be just all about getting the job done, all about getting the right team for the job, all about putting together the best possible option. And just arbitrarily going, well, see, you could join that kill team, and that would tactically be a very sound thing to do, but I'm afraid you're not tall enough. Like, there has to be if there is no mixing of normal Space Marines and Primaris Space Marines, there needs to be a reason for it. There needs to be an explanation for it. I would hope that there would be the ability to do so. I'm really hoping that, like, I mean, we're only on, what, Wednesday now? We've still got 2 more days. If the next preview was like, hey, you can also mix Primaris units and normal Space Marine units, I'd be over the moon. I'd be overjoyed, because I think that would be the correct way to implement it. But at the moment, it's like you can make these new Primaris kill teams. Okay, what about just adding Primaris to current kill teams? Why is that not being talked about? If it's not possible, why is it not possible? Is there actually a good reason, or is it just Primaris only work with Primaris? In which case, why would that attitude be allowed? Why would that attitude be prevalent in the Deathwatch of all armies, like of all forces? Why would they be sort of discriminatory towards who could work with who? I'm really hoping that we do see it. I really am, but I'm going to be honest. Much though I'm loving the look of Primaris Deathwatch, and much though I like the way they've implemented it here, and the way they've talked about it here, and the way they've provided examples, and I like the bonuses that the different units give each other, you don't need to keep everything separate. You just don't need to. I realise that the Repulsor can only transport Primaris because it means you have to buy a Repulsor if you want to transport Primaris. I realise that. I realise the Rhino can't transport Primaris because people would just buy Rhinos or use existing Rhinos, more likely. But there comes a point where it goes from being kind of, okay, I can kind of understand that wouldn't be the most efficient thing. There comes a point where it just turns into, why the hell not? And if ever there was that point, it's Deathwatch. So we'll have to keep our eyes open. We'll have to see what happens. I really hope that there will be something about mixing the two forms of Space Marine, but my gut feeling right now is that you can't. And much though I like the look of the Primaris kill teams, and I think they've done a good job with them, it would be a missed opportunity, and it would be a missed opportunity that wouldn't make much sense as a missed opportunity if you were not able to do that. So yeah, a mixed bag. Looking the like of this stuff, would like a little bit more in the way of mixing the two. We'll just have to see what happens. you have to let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Like, do you think you should be able to mix them? I'm assuming you do. And if not, why not? Like, can you think of any good reason why you wouldn't be able to mix Primaris Space Marines and normal Space Marines? Because I'm at a bit of a loss, if I'm honest, outside of just like arbitrary model setting, transport rules and shit. Like, is there even a genuine reason for that not to happen? I don't know. I don't think so. Let me know what you think in the comments below. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. There's a couple of things to click there, and then there's a thing there and there. Click them if you like. Don't click them if you don't want to. And I will see you for the next one. Toodaloo.